Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily. I'm Konrad Gorlinski. And another daily record of coronavirus infections in Poland. We have exceeded 35,000 new documented cases. Starting tomorrow, stricter epidemic regulations will apply in our country, and they're expected to last for the next 2 weeks. The most difficult situation is in Mazovia and Silesia. The health ministry does not rule out further restrictions. Polish Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki, at a conference at the University Clinical Hospital in Wrocław, emphasized that the issue of increasing the number of vaccinations is a priority in managing the situation. We have spoken with President Joe Biden about COVID-19, about the vaccination, and finally about achieving herd immunity. And that is why Poland urges the European Commission to supply it with as many doses as possible, because a hospital like this, units like these, are spread all over the country, and in total there are over 6,500 vaccination points. They tell me that if we only had the doses, we could vaccinate even 5 times more than we do today. Minister of Internal Affairs and Administration, Mariusz Kaminski, appealed for social responsibility. Dear ladies and gentlemen, everyone, and I want to emphasize this, everyone can contribute with their attitude. The police chief indicated that in the past day, almost 9,000 people received fines for the lack of masks. At this moment, all police officers sent to serve on the streets of Polish cities and villages, their absolute priority is to control compliance with the restrictions that have been introduced. From tomorrow, new restrictions apply across the country. Kindergartens and nurseries are closed. Large format furniture and construction stores, shopping centers and galleries remain closed, except for grocery stores, pharmacies, and drugstores. At beauty and hairdressing salons, business will be suspended. As of tomorrow, the limit of people in places of religious worship will be reduced. There will be a minimum of 20 square meters per person. People should stay 1.5 meters away from each other. The pandemic is also taking a toll on the people of the Czech Republic, where more than 25,000 people have succumbed to the virus since the start of the pandemic. Residents of the capital city, Prague, gathered at the Old Town Square to commemorate loved ones and strangers. Prague's Old Town Square has been turned into a street memorial, with residents scribbling names, mourning, and laying flowers in honor of the lives lost to COVID-19. A civic group called Million Moments for Democracy sprayed 25,000 white crosses on the cobblestone square. People spontaneously started writing names, dates of deaths, and personal notes next to the crosses, turning the original act into an improvised memorial. Anna Wojciechova brought a flower and a small bottle of the Czech herbal liqueur Beharůvka for her brother, who died at age 75 on March 1st, the same day he registered for vaccination. He was supposed to be vaccinated and did not live to see the day. He was 75 years old, healthy, not obese, no illness. The coronavirus chewed him up. People must be extremely careful. Another mourner, Petr Popov, came to remember a friend from Prague's Bulgarian community and to pay his respects. He was a man from the Bulgarian community. I want to write his name down with chalk to pay my respects. The Central European country of around 10.7 million has been one of the world's worst hit by the pandemic. As of March 26th, there have been more than 1.5 million infections and 25,000 coronavirus-related deaths in the Czech Republic. The death toll in the country is the second highest per capita in the world, behind San Marino, according to Our World in Data. Western clothing retailers are being purged from China following their decision to stop selling clothes suspected of having been made with the use of slave labor from the Chinese province of Xinjiang. Brands such as Burberry, Nike, Adidas, and H&M have expressed concern that imprisoned members of the persecuted local Muslim minority, the Uyghurs, are forced to produce cotton in conditions that have been described as modern-day concentration camps by human rights groups. The British clothing retailer Burberry is the latest company to face trouble. Award-winning Chinese actress Zhao Dongyu, one of Burberry's most important brand ambassadors, has announced that she has terminated her contract with Burberry because the company hasn't clearly and publicly stated its stance on cotton from Xinjiang. Burberry is a member of the Better Cotton Initiative, a group that promotes sustainable cotton production, which has said in October it was suspending its approval of cotton sourced from Xinjiang, citing human rights concerns. If the situation improves and something happens that changes things, then we can decide what to do based on the situation then. But at the moment, with the way things are now, then I will not buy anything from these brands. I have purchased these kinds of products in the past, and the situation doesn't mean that now I'm going to throw them away, destroy them, or something like that. What I'll do is just avoid buying them for the moment. The backlash, particularly in social and traditional media, has also enveloped mass-market brands like H&M, Adidas, and Nike. H&M has been banned from Chinese e-commerce platforms and has had its own app taken down from the strictly controlled Chinese internet. I don't really care too much about these brands. For me, I just want to wear something that is comfortable and makes me happy. But we must be sure of one thing. As long as these brands are not insulting China, then I'm okay with them. But if they're insulting China, then I will definitely boycott them. Activists and UN rights experts have accused China of using mass detainment, torture, forced labor, and sterilizations on Uyghurs in Xinjiang. China denies these claims and says its actions in the region are necessary to counter extremism. The issue of human rights is also increasingly becoming a thorn in the relations between Warsaw and Minsk. In the past weeks, the Belarusian authorities have launched a repressive campaign against the country's sizable Polish minority. The Polish side is now receiving support from its allies in Brussels and Washington. The recent wave of arrests targeting representatives of the Polish minority in Belarus has made international news. The U.S. Department of State has appealed for the release of Angelika Boris, Andrzej Poczobut, and other detainees. Department spokesman Ned Price stressed that Alexander Lukashenko's regime must stop the repression and immediately release all the detainees. The European Commission has also spoken up on the issue, stressing that Lukashenko's actions indicate that the Polish minority is now the latest target of the Belarusian authorities. On Thursday, journalists Irena Biernacka and Maria Tiszkowska were also detained. The 27 years of President Lukashenko's rule in Belarus have been difficult for the Polish minority, but never before has the Belarusian regime targeted the Polish community in Belarus as intensely as in recent weeks. Lukashenko has three faults. 1. He hates private initiatives. 2. He wants to rule everything by himself. And 3. He hates Poles. He loves the Soviet Union and thinks that Poles contributed to its fall. The General Prosecutor's Office of the Republic of Belarus has launched a criminal case against the chairwoman of the Union of Poles in Belarus, Angelika Boris, and other leading activists of the union. On Thursday, President Andrzej Duda spoke with his Estonian counterpart, Kersti Kaljulaid, and OSCE Secretary General Helga Schmidt about the Belarusian campaign of repression against their Polish minority. He also met and spoke with representatives of the Belarusian minority living in Poland. The talk centered on things that are important to the Belarusian minority today. Things such as financing social and cultural activities. It also concerned demographic issues, which aren't just a problem in the Belarusian community, but are a general problem in Poland. That'll be all for this evening. Thank you, and have a wonderful Friday night.